Falkenhagen. I am a graphic designer by background and education, but right now I'm focusing on digital illustration, doing children's books, posters, things like that, focusing on more realism, but definitely sticking with the digital mediums. My background grew up really loving art, family and friends really supporting me, encouraging me even when I sort of wanted to branch off and do something else at different times, but I always had that core just love for art. Really though focusing on more of a marketing side of it, as well as I really appreciate realism, try to get stories told in a way that it's almost as if it's a photograph but done via digital instead of trying to be what people would consider artsy or very expressive. I don't try to really share a lot of emotions or try to grow as a person through that. I appreciate that people can do that. That's just not one of my personal things. I just really like to have fun with it. I like to tell a story, and I just like the challenge of art. And so at the moment, I am a freelance professional digital illustrator, and I do some graphic design work on the side, and really trying to get my feel, especially living in a great city of Seattle. A lot of art in this community. I'm just trying to find my place in that area, learning how best to fit with the culture and be marketable, but also stick true to myself. A lot of my stuff has a very polished look. I don't try to go crazy with lots of textures and brush strokes or over-exaggerated expressions or colors or shapes. I try to ground it more in the natural environment. Try to create things that are still aesthetically interesting to look at, still try to bring in some vibrant colors and stuff, but it's nothing that would necessarily be considered like crazy or groundbreaking or anything like that. I really just like to try to reach people that maybe aren't necessarily like consider themselves art lovers, but that can appreciate just the beauty that especially things like photography or film can capture, that isn't trying to take any sort of crazy artistic license, but just really just the way nature and God has created things. I feel that in itself is perfect as it is. So being able to try to mimic that, I think is usually my goal. I think the thing that I love most about what I do is being able to either, if it's for myself, just have the complete freedom that all artists get, just that ability, especially if it's something like what I do, instead of filming it or trying to use photography or something like that. Instead of doing that, you're able to create these completely limitless worlds or expressions or whatever. You don't have to try to set things up or find these locations. Just whatever you can think of is great. And then as far as working for other clients or working, especially like in something like a marketing atmosphere, I really just like being able to interact with people, especially people that are maybe new to a new product, or they've started a business, or they're starting to write their very first book and they need a cover or a children's book or album and all those different first-time ventures. People are so excited to get it out there, and I love to be part of that excitement of being able to present something to them that is very well done, but also just fits exactly with what they were looking for, and just that excitement to present their body of work, whatever that may be, to the world in a way that they're proud of, and it's just fun for me to be able to be a part of that. I was actually working as a graphic designer for a major company for a while, and as most people, they don't really care for the 9-to-5 and that kind of stuff, and that wasn't actually so bad. I think a lot of people that they want to quit because they just don't want people to be their bosses, but then they forget that as a freelancer you end up having 100 bosses, and they're all different types of people. But I've, over the last about 6 months or so has started to be working all on my own as a freelancer. And in that amount of time, I've started to pick up a lot of different clients, working on a couple different children's books. I've done just different illustrations and posters for different companies here and there. Been able to work with larger companies in the past, such as Discovery Channel, Amazon, major hotel chains, things like that, which has been really fun to work with, bigger groups and people's names that people are aware of. I also was asked to join an art project that's still a little non-disclosure at the moment. Will be released later this year in 2014. It's an anatomy book featuring artists from big heavy hitters in the industry with Marvel and Sony, DreamWorks, Disney, all those kind of people that I've respected and followed and learned from, and have their art on my wall, and I'm being able to be privileged to be featured in this book along with them. I think that'll give me some great exposure. This RAW event 2014 in Seattle is actually my first gallery event, so that's, to me, even though it's still baby steps, it's so great to see what has happened just in the last 6 months or year or so. So I'm really excited to see what will happen over the next 5, 10, 15 years if I'm able to stay on this trajectory, so I feel very blessed. My name is Chase, and I'm a RAW artist.